Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for attending. We're just gonna have a quick session today that we're gonna do like a little overview on the um, uh, project Dovetail that is about smart contracts and see what we've done there. And then we'll have a little demo on how to get started and set up. So basically, let's quickly set the stage a little bit on what's blockchain and why smart contracts are important. Okay, so just like a 1 second, what is a blockchain? Blockchain is a decentralized and distributed digital ledger that records transactions across many computers, right? And what is important is that it's a way for you to add business logic to it that is called a smart contract, right? So then what happens is this digital ledger gets replicated across all the different nodes that adds resilience, visibility, etc., etc. It's also append only, which means that cannot be changed, which is good for provenance and some other things. So it has a lot of properties there that we won't be discussing here. But basically what we saw is there was like a problem with developing of these smart contracts, right? Like every single blockchain has its own language, its own syntax, its own things. So we're trying to simplify all that as much as possible. So that's what we came up with Project Dovetail. Project Dovetail is basically a model-driven approach to smart contracts and API development. And what we're trying to do is to simplify how you write those smart contracts in a no-code fashion. So as you see on the picture on the left, you're just going to create your flow. That is the logic of your smart contract. And after that, you can just generate it, deploy it, and just use it as it is. So today we're going to see how to set up this whole environment, which is really easy. We'll do it in a minute or two. And then the next sessions, we'll keep going on the life cycle of it, on how to generate the smart contract and how to deploy it and how to call it, basically. So some of the features that this gives you is like the acceleration of the adoption, because you have a visual interface. So you're lowering the bar on the people that can actually interact with it and design it and deploy it. It also adds some easily integration with enterprise systems, because our Flogo ecosystem has all these different activities and connectors that allow you to integrate with classic systems. You can very easily now, with the same UI and same interface and the same tools, to integrate with those systems. Therefore, your smart contracts and blockchains are not siloed anymore. You can enhance the security and accuracy with pre-built templates and the code. And you can increase the understandability of business logic, because you can reason it on a visual interface instead of having to go through the code. So those are kind of like the main features. So how does this work, right? So we have different pieces together. The first one is the smart contract modeling, which is what we are going to see today, how to set all that up. It uses Flogo as the UI interface and the engine, and Project Dovetail, which are basically a set of extensions that are based on the blockchain of your choice. In this case, we're going to demo hyperledger fabric extensions. Then after you have that smart contract, you can use that smart contract to create your client application and artifact generation, which is basically your exposed to the world, right? Your API. You can generate your application that exposes your smart contract as a REST API, for instance, or a GraphQL or something else, for instance. Once we have those two things, the smart contract and the client application, you can deploy them both. The first one, if it's your client application, is just a normal Golang application that you can run on your cloud of choice. And the smart contract modeling, you can deploy it in your blockchain of choice, in this case, Hyperledger or R3 Corda. So that's pretty much, on a nutshell, what we're trying to achieve here. Quick demo on how to get started. So for instance, the best way is to start by downloading Project Flogo, which is like open source. You click on try Flogo, you copy this, and then in your favorite terminal, you just paste it here. Okay, so you paste that, and when you run it, it's going to download your Flogo, and it's just going to run it. And then you get this message saying, okay, this is ready to go. So then you open this URL, and then you'll get this welcome back with this good information. And then you're ready to go in terms of the UI, right? So the first thing you're going to do is to install the contributions that are enabling you to generate and create smart contracts. So in our webpage that we'll send later on the different resources, you can copy all these different activities. So there is one trigger and 4 activities just to start. And then the way you do it is you click install contribution, you paste your URL and click install. Okay, I'm not going to install it because I have it already, but then that goes through the installation. And then once you have them all, then you're ready to go. And then you have 2 options. Either you start from a new project, so then you create a new app, my new chain code in this case, because we're doing hyperledger. And then you just click enter, and then you can create different actions. Each action is a flow that is an actual transaction. My transaction 1, for instance. Then you create it. And then what you do is you create a trigger. The part that makes it a chain transaction is this trigger. So if you choose a fabric transaction, that means that this is automatically a chain code. And then once you have that, then you can just write your own flow. So for instance, you can create a fabric get. Then after that, you can actually do just a normal log. And then you can just like return, for instance. Super easy. And then you're done, right? Then you just have to configure the trigger. You just have to configure the get with like a good wizard here with configuration, some of the mappings in and out, and then you're ready to go. So that's the first way. The second way would be to actually import an existing one. So we have provided one here with the marbles, which is like the chain code example that comes with Hyperledger. And it'll be as easy as just click import, and then you just go to your JSON file that you've just downloaded, and then you open it. That will import your flows and your transactions. So for instance, if we go to like an example here, read a marble, it'll be as simple as we said, a fabric transaction trigger. And then you'll have a log you get from the chain code, from the blockchain here, and then you just log the get, and then you return. So it could be as simple as that. And that's it. You're set up to actually do more developing of chain code just with a UI interface. And in different sessions, we will look into how to deploy those, generate the chain code, and how to act upon it. But for today, that's what we got. These are a list of resources for you to look into. So thank you very much. Thanks for attending.